Shalom Aleichem, sweetest friends. How utterly exciting is this? We're continuing our shir on the topic of a person who's stuck in the desert and doesn't know what day Shabbos is. The Gemara says either he keeps one day Shabbos and then 6 days weekday, or first 6 days weekday he counts, then the seventh day is Shabbos. So we discussed, among other things, in the previous shir, the kasha of the Sfas Emes. L'chaora, the Gemara says that you should say Kiddush and Havdalah in order that Shabbos should be Nicker, because you have to do K'dei Parnasas, you have to work enough to stay alive. But how can you say it B'Shem Malchus? So it must not be B'Shem Malchus. And then his son-in-law said, but Stimas HaPoskim is you do say it B'Shem Malchus. But how are you going to say it B'Shem Malchus when it might not be Shabbos, 6 out of 7 chance, and you're over bracha levatala? So how can it be? So we're continuing again. We're basing ourselves on the shir of the Biala Rebbe Shlita, of Betzalel Simcha Menachem Rabinowitz, and this is in Siman Tes of his sefer on Birchas HaMitzvahs. And he says that from the Mishnah Berurah and the Sha'ar HaTziyun, it would appear that they hold that this inyan of keeping one day was a special Takonas Chachamim. And with that, he's miyashiv the kasha of the Sfas Emes. He writes in Shin Mem Dalet Sif Kotten Gimel, Oisa Kiddush ala Pas, V'ayayin, Kedin, V'tiknu Chachamim Zel Zikaron, Shaloi Tishtakach Toires Shabbos Mimenu. And Chachamim were metaking this in order that this person shouldn't forget Toires Shabbos. He shouldn't forget the laws of Shabbos, the idea of Shabbos, the notion of Shabbos. So they have the Zikaron. And the Sha'ar HaTziyun explains more. Rashi v'ran v'kibim zel tar teichet yolol v'roch beres kiddush v'lakaponim midei sfek aloi nafka v'alzeh pirish the Zikaron. So how are we? This is mechuven to answer the kasha of how you're making kiddush to Safek. Safek loy sisa. Midei svega loy nafka. So the answer is it's only lezikaron. And since it's lezikaron, or not only lezikaron, since it's a chosh of zikaron, it's beseder gamor. It's not a bracha levatala. And when he mentioned Rashi and the Ran, Rashi writes, Kiddusha b'avdalta l'zikaron ba'alma, shi'eh lo shem yom choluk mishar yomim v'lo tishtach Torah Shabbos mimenu. It's for a zikaron that you should have one separate day, and you shouldn't forget Shabbos. And the Ran writes similarly, understands the Mishnah Berurah that there was a special takonas chachamim l'zichron Shabbos shelo tishtachach mimenu, that there should be one day for Kiddush and Havdalah b'bracha b'shem u'malchus. Even though, like we saw in the previous shir, Midin Rov, it's not Shabbos. And so it appears from the Sfas Emes over there, but we have to understand. Where do we find this takana that they were mitakin b'miyuchad l'adam zeh to make Shabbos during the weekday? And only in Kiddush v'Avdalah, or maybe Tefillah Shabbos like we discussed in the previous shir. And if it's in order not to forget Shabbos, there are a lot of ways of doing it without the chashash of Hazkar Shem Shemaim Levatola. In the Lashon of Mishnah Berurah, it's mashma that if he doesn't have yayin or pas, he shouldn't be mekadesh like every other person on Shabbos. Oisa kiddush ala pas vayin kadin. So either al pas if you don't have yayin if you do. The Kaf HaChaim in Shin Daled Mem, it's also mashma that only if you have yayin and pas you make kiddush. V'zimnin loy misrami loy ve'drachim yayin upas k'dei l'kadesh alav. And therefore you sometimes you're not going to have yayin or pas, therefore you daven Tefillah Shabbos. However, in the Birkei Yosef and Siman Ayin Reish Beis, remember we're saying Siman Shin Daled Mem, so it shouldn't be Shin Men Daled, which is Shmad. We don't want to say that. So Siman Reish Ayin Beis is Ra'ev. We don't want to be hungry. We want to be Arev. We want to be sweet. So Siman Ayin Reish Beis, Sifkot and Tes, the Birkei Yosef brings a machlokes, and he says, Mishaya b'midbar v'loy lechem v'yayin. Even though he davened Ma'ariv of Shabbos, you have to say Birchas HaKiddush. And the Pri brings the Pri Chodesh that you don't, but he brings the machlokes. And Pashtus, Lashonis HaRishonim v'Haposkim, it doesn't seem that they were told of this Kiddush and Pasin Yayin. V'adir Mekadesh b'chol oifen. So what's Pshat Memacht Kiddush on bread, on wine? We're making Kiddush without bread and without wine. Mazeh. The Rambam writes in the second paragraph of Shabbos, Halach of Beis, that if you're going in the Midbar and you don't know when Shabbos is, from the day that you don't know what day it is, you count 6 days, and then you're Mekadesh on the 7th day. And then you make Birchas HaYoyim, and you're Mavdil b'Motzei Shabbos. U'v'chol Yoyim v'Yoyim, and even on the day that you're Mekadesh and Mavdil, you're allowed to do Kedei Parnasosai, in order that the person doesn't die. But not Yoyser al Parnasosai, because every day is Safek Shabbos. From the fact that the Rambam wasn't Mazkir, that you should make ala yayin or ala pas, smash me yayin or pas aren't leikuva. If you don't have yayin or pas, just make without yayin or pas. The Rambam writes, Umakadesh Shavi. What does it mean, Umakadesh Shavi? You have to be Makadesh that day. Like the Chasim Sofer writes, you have to be Makabel Atzmo B'dibur Kedusha Shabbos Kodesh. Like on a normal regular Shabbos. Kolshkein B'hai Shabbosa, that you're a Kaveh for yourself. You have to be Makadesh B'diburo. Because it's not clear that it's Kaddish without you. Maybe it's not Shabbos. And it's like Kiddush B'chor. Even though Kiddush B'chor is holy from the womb, it's still a mitzvah like a Kaddish. So too here. Then writes in Mavarach Bo Birchas Hayom. So the Pri Megadim learns that it's not talking about Birchas Kiddush, it's talking about Birchas HaTefillah and Birchas HaMazon. And he wants to say from here, like Shita Kishitaso, that you're Mispalel, Shel Shabbos. But Lav Dafka. Could be that the Rambam means Lulei Divrei HaPri Megadim, obviously, that he's talking about Kiddush. Makadesh Shvi, Mavarich Bo Birchas Hayom in Kiddush. You make Birchas Hayom. Vafilu b'yom zeh shu Makadesh Mavdil Bo. So he only mentions Makadesh Mavdil Bo. He doesn't mention anything about davening. That's l'chayr is the pshat in the Rambam. So it would appear to explain the sugi as follows with the Magen Avram. Magen Avram in Shin Daled Mem Sif Cotton Gimel talks about the din. If it's mutter on the day that you're keeping his Shabbos to do Malachos Shvus D'Rabbanan, and it's mashma that the Magen Avram is toila, this shaila, in the terutzim of the Rishonim, in the reason for the heter that you're allowed to go even out of the Tchum on this day. The Ran and the Maggid Mishnah writes that Tchum is D'Rabbanan, and therefore you're allowed to go outside the Tchum. Mashmos Divrayim, every D'Rabbanan is mutter. Toisus V'Arosh Kasu Taima, what's their reason? Kedei Lamar Motzis Min HaMidbar, to get out of that desert. Mashma Sharis Surei D'Rabbanan Aser. And even though he passed in Svega D'Rabbanan L'Kula, since Shabbos is Chol on him, Aser Bakol. Like Yom Tov Sheni is Mishum Svega, but we asked D'Rabbanan, Z'ad Kan Divrei HaMagen Avram. And the El Yerabbi argues in the Magen Avram, and he says, Sarachiyum, the Tois Perakal Godol, like Kosovu came. Gamarash the Kosov Tam Zed, Afilu Mandam Retchum and Dairaisa Mekila Mishum Sakona. Aval Mandam Retchum and Darabanan, Baloi Tam Zed Mutter, the Svek Darabanan Lakula, Viran Betaz, Kosovu Bem Satam, Kevin Shum and Darabanan. Ad Kan Loshan El Yerab, in other words, El Yerab holds that Lakuli Alma you're allowed to do Malachas Darabanan. And that the Rosh says the reason is Kedei Lamar Lotzis Meretz Gzeira, to get out of that terrible midbar, it's adding, even the man the Omar, Tchumen is Dairais, you can be Mekel. And we could possibly Mekayim the Raya of the Magen Avram from the Rosh, because Shitas HaRosh Be'erevin is that Tchumen is Derabbanan. I feel Yud Beis Mil. Now, like the Rif at the end of the first parak of Erevin, and the Rambam in the 27th parak, Filchos Shabbos, Halach Lamed Aleph. And if so, the Fish Shitaso, the Rosh didn't have to add a reason laheter, Laman Damer Tchumen Dairaisa, because Lehilchasa, Tchumen is only Tchumen Derabbanan, Memela is Mutter. What does the Rosh hold? The Rosh holds that Tchumen is only Derabbanan, so he doesn't have to add the Mandamer Tchumen Daraisa. Because Lehilchasa, Tchumen Derabbanan is Mutter. So therefore it's Muchach, like the Magen Avram learned, that Malachas Derabbanan are Aser, but only it's Mutter to get out of this Eretz Gzeira, to get out of this Midbar. Now we have to understand, those who Aser Malachas Derabbanan, we paskin, B'chol Duchta, Sfek Derabbanan L'Kula. Ubefrat in our Safek. It's a rove that tells us it's definitely chol. And it's kavor is not shayach, like we learn. It's not nicker. So why should we aser even as surei shvus derabbanan, sfek derabbanan l'kula? So b'shar sheish yamim, it's pasha that we shouldn't aser as surei shvus derabbanan. So it's medayik the Kaf HaChaim from the Magen Avram, that only on the 7th day he discusses the Shaila of Surei D'Rabbanan, but 6 days, Mashmat's Mutter. And so is Mefurish in the Shulchan Aruch HaRav, and also Mashmos in the Mishnah Brura. However, Das HaTosfos Shabbos and Sifkat and Gimel is to Aser Afilu B'Shar Yomim B'Surei Shvus D'Rabbanan, brought by the Kaf HaChaim. And that's Tamua, because even on the 7th day there is in Machlokas HaPoskin. So we want to understand those B'chlal. Why would you Aser? Svek D'Rabbanan L'Kula. And now you want to tell me the other 6 days it's Aser? It's a big tzarachin on the Tosfos Sefer Tosfos Shabbos. Now we find on the 7th day, like we said, that there are those who Aser, and we have to understand why. The Rove was poshet to Safek that it's Chol Gomer. Magen Avram apparently was aware, was conscious of this, and therefore he added, V'af agav the kaimel on Svek D'Rabbanan L'Kula, even though we paskin. You go L'Kula D'Rabbanans, Kevin the Chol of Shabbos Aser Bakol, come over Yom Tov Sheni, Davinami Svek of Isser Shvus. So he tells to Yom Tov Sheni. If he bad that we see on Yom Tov Sheni, that even though it's a Safek, you're still Machmir, you're still Aser, to do a Surei Shvus D'Rabbanan, so to Shabbos. But we have to understand, what's this Sushtel? What does Yom Tov Sheni have to do with this? Yom Tov Sheni was the Kavut Takana, to keep 2 days. They made it like a Yom Tov Gomer, even for a Surei Shvus D'Rabbanan. But here, it's this guy, he doesn't know what day it is. It's his own personal Safek. It's not a Takana D'Rabbanan. Sarachiyun. So it's Muchach we talk to Magen Avram, that he learns that this din of Moines Shisha Mishamer Yom Echad, that it's a Takonas Chachomim, that they were mitaken when you forgot Shabbos, that you should count 6 days and keep the 7th day midin Shabbos Vaday. So we have to make a chakira on the yesod of this din of keeping the 7th day. Is it machmas sfeika? He doesn't know, and therefore Chachamim made it takana. Shalosh Shtakach Shabbos. He keeps 1 day as the Zikaron Ba'alma. And this day isn't a Shabbos Vadai. You're just keeping it b'Torah Safek. It's the Mashmos of the Shulchan Aruch Harav. He writes, "L'zichron ba'alma sheyelo yom cholok mishar yomim v'lo tishtakach Torah Shabbos mimenu." In other words, it's not Shabbos Gamor. It's just that Shabbos shouldn't be forgotten. L'zikaron ba'alma. But the Tzad Sheni, we can say no. The Chum made it takanas Vadai. Takana miyuchedes shelo tishtakach Torah Shabbos. If you don't know when Shabbos is, you're Mekadesh Yom Echad min Shabbos Vadai midrabanan. That's the Rambam says, Mekadesh Shvi, B'kedusha Vadoy Shel Emes. None of that you're Noeg Safek Ilu Kadosh. No. This day for this man has Kedusha Shabbos D'Rabbanan. And then we understand beautiful the Tzushtel of the Magen Avram between this day and Yom Tov Sheni Shel Goliath. They're both Yom Tov, they're both Yom Gemurim, V'midin Vadai, Chamur Metakin. Mikoyach, this Safek, they're Metakin a Yom Vadai. And therefore we're going to ask her Isurim D'Rabbanan. And those who argue and say that Isurim D'Rabbanan are mutter, it's because today is Nitzka Mitoch Mitoch Safek. And therefore, like the Eliyah Rabbatain, it's Seged D'Rabbanan L'Kula. We're not going to ask her Melachas D'Rabbanan. And with this explanation, we understand Shita says Sovereign that you daven Tefillah Shel Shabbos. And you don't need any of the eitzes that we gave in the previous year. Because the regular Shabbos, Shabbos Vadai. You daven regular Shabbos. And we also understand why you're not putting on tefillin. It's Vadai Shabbos. And the only reason that those who are mechayiv you to put on tefillin is out Safek Chol. Like the Bir Halacha writes. Within tefillin early is daiti the chayiv la niachbo because rov yomim are chol. You have to go after the rov. And the kiddush is likaron ba'alma. So I'm not going to read out the whole lashon, but it's mefurish in the Bir Halacha, Ketzad Arishon of our Chakira, that it's only takana Safek. And therefore, linyan tefillin, you have to be chosh for the Daraisa, put on tefillin. But the Chokim will hold no. That has a din of Shabbos Vadai. And so it would appear from the famous tshuva of the Radbaz that it has a din of Shabbos Vadai. Even maybe Daraisa, mamish. The Welt shokelt when you hear such a Radbaz. Vayanu Amos Hasipim. Radbaz writes in Chelek Aleph Siman Ayin Vov. HaShabbos nimsor lekol echad miYisrael kenemar ki oisi beini uveinechem u'kamosha yisabrisu lekol kein HaShabbos lekol echad kein HaShabbos nimsor lekol echad b'chol mokom shum hoine shishi yomim. So it's mamish like Shabbos that you count 6 days. It's given to the individual. Zechel ma'aseh bereishis. Because Shabbos is nitin lekol echad k'fi mekoyma asher darbo k'fi shekvar nishlam ukoma shisha hakefim shleim v'nechas shvi l'koydim koydim l'mucham rucher. So normally we have a calendar. It teaches us 6 and then 7. This guy doesn't have it, so whatever he counts, it becomes his own personal Shabbos. Shabbos is given to every yachid as an os, and therefore when you keep Shabbos, it's your Shabbos. And the reason you're doing it misafek, why are you keeping the other days misafek? That you're only doing kedei parnasaso. Because maybe in other places in this area, they are keeping Shabbos. But you're not bringing a carbon, he says. Because you kept properly Shabbos the way you were supposed to. Ki ha-Shabbos nitan l'kol echad k'fi makom asher darbo, he writes. V'gedolim mitzu amru. And he quotes our Gemara. V'aval pi shein oseh b'chol yom ele k'dei chayev. Hani mili mipnei shu safek shemu Shabbos l'chol b'nei oseh m'choz asher ubo. And therefore Shabbos is chal on them, for the other people. I'm skipping a little bit. Everyone does it in his place. So when it's Shabbos in New York, it's not Shabbos in Israel. When it's Shabbos in Australia, it's not Shabbos in California. Everyone in their own place, and every individual, even if you forgot Shabbos. Because you're Makayim mitzvah Shabbos. Not understand it. You're right, he was Mekayim Mitzvah Shabbos, but he did Malacha. The answer is for him, that Shabbos was Chol. It was Saturday, but it wasn't. It was Chol for him. And if you look in the Gra, in the Sefer Kol Eliyahu and Parshas Yisro, he brings a remez of this from the Psukim. So not every Torah there is necessarily from the Gra. There's some big kashas, but I'll let you look there. He brings amazing diukim from the Psukim. So he finds a shorish for this. And now let's start where we went back. Let's go back to where we started. Sfas emes. How are you mevarich birchas kiddush v'avdala b'shem u'malchus? As is the mashmos of Lashon HaRambam. Remember what the Sfas emes is l'chora yanat. Can you use shem u'malchus? Rov yom u'marchol. So this will be told to be yesod birchas hakiddush. And that's what the Biala Rebbe explained in another place. What's pshat in Kiddush? If it's a birchas shevach v'kilus of praise, as is mashma in the Rambam and the Rashba, you have to make birchas shevach al Shabbos Kodesh. So there's a taz and a bach and Yeridea, Siman al Sivkon Yud Zayin, Shemi Yikar Adin. You can make a birchas shevach bashuk, b'chol eishu rotze, and it's not a bracha levatala. You mishabech Hashem. It's just not nice stam to make a birchas shevach unless you have a sibah that's going the birchasai. Look there, beginning of Yeridea. So v'nidon didan in our case that a person is supik when it's Shabbos, and they're telling him to keep one day for Shabbos, so it's not stam. He has a reason, and therefore he can make kiddush. His bracha is not levatala. We can add the famous Ramban that it's a mitzvah d'oraisa to remember Shabbos every day. So it emerges that every day we have to remember Shabbos. And certainly today that you're mesupik that it's Shabbos, and the your count it's Shabbos. So you can say Birchas HaKiddush. Or Befrat if you hold it Shabbos Vaday. But even if you hold it Shabbos Safek, if it's Shabbos Vaday, then a Vaday, you can make Kiddush. But if it's a Birchas HaMitzvahs like the other Shitas, then it's not so pashut that you can make a Birchas HaMitzvahs. It's not so pashut that you can make a birchas a mitzvah of kiddush if a person was machal Shabbos. The only thing is, maybe this isn't considered chil Shabbos because it's mutter for him. It's mutter for him to do these. He's doing ba'ones. He's doing kedei parnasaso. He's allowed to do kedei parnasaso. So even on the tzad that it's a birchas a mitzvah, and you can't make a birchas a mitzvah if you're not keeping the mitzvah, if you're not a person not keeping Shabbos, but here he's keeping Shabbos. He's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. He's doing al pi takanas chazal. This would mean that if a person is machal Shabbos at the beginning of Shabbos, then maybe he can't make kiddush. He does it against halacha, and somebody else would have to be motzi him. Al kol panim, there's a lot to be mefalpil here, and there's a lot of Torah on this question, in this sugya. And we're giving ourselves a bracha b'siyata d'shmaya, shenachzor v'nishna perek zeh, We learned the Safek if it's Shabbos Vadei, Shabbos Safek. We learned that the Radbaz that it's everybody has their own personal Shabbos, even Midoraisa. The Gemara found the Remes in the Psukim. We learned that saying Kiddush if it's a Berachas of Shevach. Here you have a reason to say the Berachas of Shevach, so it's Glat, even it's more Glat, even on the side that you're only keeping Shabbos Misafek. If it's a Berachas of Mitzvah, maybe not, but maybe you are keeping the Mitzvah because you're Ones. Ones is not like, according to the famous discussion Achronim, when you do it by Ones, it's not really your Maisa. On Kopanim, we have a lot of food for thought, and we should be Zochim Eitz Hashem. L'shmor Shabbos. Yismechu b'malchuscha shomrei Shabbos v'korei oneg. B'simcha v'tuv levav me'rov kol. Amen v'amen. Shalom, shalom, sweetest and most beloved friends.